What's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer, and welcome to your daily silver stacking video. Thank you for tuning in. Did you guys know that the government actually banned silver? They put a law in place on the spot saying that nobody could trade silver. You could not buy silver. All you could do is sell it. And you know who you could sell it to? Not people like you and I. You had to sell it to big banks. Why did they do this? Why would they do this? Well, I'll tell you the mainstream, the surface reason. But I'm making this video because I've talked about this before. I've talked about this when I covered the Hunt Brothers documentary, or whatever you want to call that two-part series of the Hunt Brothers owning up to 77% of the global silver supply. And I'm not exaggerating. Newspaper story, 15%. More like 77% when I uncovered the real story. Because there's two sides to this story. The mainstream media that are deeming them these evil guys that tried to corner the market. And obviously, they're going to go that route because do you think the government wanted everyone to know why the Hunt brothers were really buying all this silver? Because the story broke out. But average Americans don't know about silver. They don't know about the dollar even. So if they're questioning why are these guys investing so much into silver, if the real answer got out, which was, oh, well, they're hedging against inflation because the dollar's collapsing and the banks are corrupt. Do you think the government wants people to know that? No. So they put this fake story out saying they were trying to do this illegal thing to corner the market. And the Hunt brothers was like, no, look, we're trying to buy silver to protect ourselves against inflation, or rather hyperinflation. I mean, we're only talking about 1980. We're not talking about the 50s or things were still bad back then as they are now. Just it's more extreme now. But they're still investing in the silver the same reasons you and I are. But the point is they owned a lot of silver, most of the silver. And if the government, and by the way, this is important to note as well, they bought all this silver on the COMEX, but they were trading the contracts in for physical delivery. So we're not just talking about numbers, right? It would be so much different if they didn't plan on turning the contracts in. But since they were turning the contracts in for physical delivery, the government didn't have much silver. They actually only had enough to cover 1 month on the COMEX, which was the month of October. So there wasn't much silver to go around. And back then they still needed silver to for the electronics, for laptops, silver isn't just starting to be useful today. It always has been. So imagine if the United States didn't have enough silver to make everything that needed silver, which is everything. What did they do? They put a law into place on the spot called Silver Rule 7, which you can see right here was a real thing. I'm not making this stuff up, guys. I feel like sometimes, since a lot of this information is off the top of my head and I don't show the articles, people think I just make this stuff up. No. Here's an actual article, June 17th, 1981, which 1980, the Hunt brothers did this stuff, pushed the price to $50, crashed the price after the government banned silver because you couldn't buy it. You could only sell it to people, big banks actually. You couldn't even sell it to people like you and I. People panicked, sold, crashed the price back down. But the interesting thing is this article, which came out in 1981, shows it gives context to the COMEX actually filing suit to stop the ban. So this is something I wanted to cover as well. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of a backstory to how this all happened, because this is a very important story to know, because since I've covered this before, I wanted to take it a step further. You guys know me. If I'm going to talk about something, I'm going to go through, dissect, break this down, get the what's, the why's, the how's, the when's, the everything's. And there's something I never really got into that's the most important part. Why did they really ban silver? And if they did it back then because they didn't have enough, because there was a silver shortage since the Hunt brothers owned it all, could they do it again? Silver is scarce. We know that silver is scarce, and it's going to be more scarce over the next couple of decades. But we need silver for 5G towers, electric vehicles, solar panels. We know all that stuff. We need a lot of silver for a lot of different things, especially as we advance in this new digital technological era we're advancing in. But there's less and less silver. So what is the government going to do if they don't have enough silver to make these electric vehicles? What is the government going to do if they don't have enough silver to turn the entire world into a solar panel as we pass the Green New Deal, as silver is used for all these silver lithium ion batteries in the medical world, colloidal silver and all these silver nanoparticles? And what are they going to do? They're just going to stop making they're going to stop making cars? We're just going to go back to gas? We're just not gonna use solar panels? No, they're going to get the silver somehow, some way, and from someone. But who? You, me, the guy next to you watching the same video on his laptop, probably a couple miles down the street. If they did it once, they would do it again. And now the situation is a lot more extreme. So I wanted to make this video to talk about the possibility of the government banning trading silver where you couldn't buy it, so they collected all the silver again so they could have enough silver for these solar panels or whatever they need the silver for. Because remember, there's a big difference between gold and silver. Silver is a necessity. Silver makes the world go round. They've even done gold confiscation, but that is a different perspective. That's a whole different situation in itself, because they weren't confiscating people's gold because they needed it to make the world go round. They needed people's gold because gold is what backs a country. That's how a country is considered wealthy. The only reason America is the wealthiest country in the world is because we own the most gold. So yes, gold confiscation has happened probably 15, 20 times. I'll say 15 times throughout history, in not just the United States, but all over the world. Remember the executive order 6182 or whatever that FDR put in place in 1933? You had to literally turn your gold in, or you would get 10 years in prison or a $10,000 fine. Now, they're not going to kick in your front door and steal your safe, but if you had to turn all of your gold in, only certain people could hold gold, as a very select few. And if you didn't turn it in, you would be punished. And that's because the government needed all the gold. See, a different reason than silver, but it's still the same, I guess, essence. They're taking your precious metals from you because they need it for some reason, and they will go to any lengths to do so. Now, since this is such an extreme type of scenario, a lot of people would say, no, the government would never ban silver. But they've done it before. If they never did it before and I was making this video, yeah, that would be a little out there, saying that silver's scarce right now. There's a silver shortage. The government needs it. They could ban silver. See, if Silver Rule 7 never happened, if it never happened before, then yes, I would say that's a little out there, Silver Slayer. I'm kind of just, theorizing and being, throwing my tinfoil hat here. But they've done it not even, 40 years ago, a couple decades ago. And right now, we're living in crazy times, so crazy things happen. Crazy prices are going to happen, and it wouldn't be that surprising. We're already seeing extremely high premiums on silver, and that is because silver is scarce. Silver is scarce. Think about this. Think about this right now. This is crazy to think about. And this is the scariest part. So, the United States Mint, obviously they put out an article mentioning there's a silver shortage. They're not denying it. They said that they're having a very hard time finding silver to make the coins. And it wasn't just the United States Mint, the Mexican Mint. I mean, lots of different mints came out, Perth Mint, saying that it's hard to find silver, to find suppliers. So there's a limited mintage number on the 2021 Eagles and the Type 2 Eagles. We already know that. That's real. And by the way, remember guys, I'm not making this stuff up in my head. You can fact check me on anything I say. Now, limited mintage. And for the past couple of years, American Eagles have only been minted at around 13 million. 2020, only 13 million. 13 million. When usually there's 40 million American Eagles minted per year. The average is around 30, 40 million. They're having a hard time even finding 13 million to mint, which is like a third, fourth of the normal amount. So if they can't even mint 13 million coins, or they're having trouble with that, that really exposes a lot and shows a lot. That shows a lot. But think about it even a step further. That's only coins. They are having a hard time finding silver for just a fraction of what silver is used for. Silver is mostly gold is used for coins, bars, jewelry, necklaces. Silver is used mainly for the industrial sector. So if they are having a hard time finding enough silver to make coins, which is a very small percentage of why silver is needed, imagine how much worse the situation is going to be for 5G towers, for solar panels, for electric vehicles, when by 2030, every car company is going to be electric. I hear it every day. Volvo just announced it the other day. Driving down the road, I heard the commercial. Everything is going green, which is silver. What do you think is going to happen? Are they going to just kick up mining production? Because silver's pretty rare to find. Some people say silver is actually more rare than gold, and that is because we look for gold. Silver is a byproduct. We find silver by accident. If we're looking for gold, lead, zinc, copper. If we find silver while we're looking for those other metals, we'll take it, but we're not looking for it. So what are they going to do? Make more focal silver mines? Because silver is hard to find. Or are they going to take it from us? They have two options. Or start scrapping silver out of, because most silver that gets dug up gets thrown away. So I'm trying to figure out their options here, because they are in a sticky situation. And it's not like this might happen. This is already happening. If the U.S. Mint is already making articles about this, if the Silver Institute's already posting the numbers, I made a video on the U.S. former mint director talking about the silver shortage. I showed the video actually on my channel. If it's already in place, then obviously they're trying to do something about it. There's some type of plan in place. So I'm trying to think of the options they have. One would be ramp up production, right, of digging it out the ground. Two would be probably production with recycling, scrapping silver, since most silver is thrown away, since it's used mainly for the industrial side than the jewelry side. Because remember, gold is mostly recycled because it's used for jewelry. So it's easy to recycle. Everyone pawns coins and pawns their grandma's jewelry, their gold jewelry and all that stuff. That gets recycled. And that jewelry, that necklace gets turned into a bar, and then that gets turned into some gold watts, and that gold watts gets turned into something else. But silver, once that silver's in that laptop and that laptop gets crushed or whatever, it's gone. So maybe they start learning how to recycle, rescrap silver again, or they come for us. And what would be the reason that we would actually turn it in? Would it be prices so everyone sells, or would it be a law that says you cannot buy silver anymore, you can only sell it, and the only person you can sell it to is us? Now that sounds crazy, but it's happened before, and that's actually what destroyed the Hunt brothers. And that's why this article is titled, "How Did Silver Rule 7 Collapse the Silver Market to Destroy the Hunt Brothers?" And that is exactly what happened. So let's dive into it. Now, they're going to give there's a lot of backstory of what, the Hunt brothers and all that. So I'm going to skip most of what you need. most of what you kind of want to know, or I just want to talk about what you need to know. So basically, the Hunt brothers, rich kids, had more money than good sense, right? So in high inflation 1970s, convinced them the government was under incompetent U.S. dollar, soon be worthless, just like we think now. Now, since Americans were not allowed to own gold at the time, they decided to put their money in silver. They were so greedy, and this is the part, they got greedy, they started borrowing and all that. If they would have just bought physical, they would have been fine. But the only way they bought silver was through futures contracts, which they took the unusual step of electing for physical delivery. Remember, I said that. They tried to turn all these contracts in for physical delivery. They ran the price of silver up from $6 an ounce to $50. They owned $5 billion in silver. Depending on which newspaper story you read, they owned between 15 and 77% of all the world's silver. So remember, they're turning in all this for physical delivery. There's not much silver left. Even if they own 50% of the global silver, the U.S., that's 50% of the global supply. So the U.S. only has a fraction of 50% because they still are talking about every country, not just the United States. So along the way, it pissed off everyone in the futures trading industry and the newly arrived Reagan administration. If they'd confined themselves to physical silver, there would not have been much anyone could do about it. Their vulnerability was borrowed money in the highly leveraged futures market. First, government made a rule that the FDIC-insured banks were no longer allowed to lend money for commodity speculation. Second, the COMEX stopped trading silver and the CBOT doubled margin requirements. The Hunt brothers got a $100 million margin call. They did not have it, and banks were not allowed to lend it to them. Brokers were required to place involuntary market sell orders to reduce the brothers' position. So the large quantity of sell orders wiped clean the buy side of the market, right? There were simply no buyers at any price. And then which led to Silver Thursday, when the price fell from $20 an ounce to $10 an ounce. And the following 3 days, it went limit down on the first trade of each day. The fall stopped at $5, back where it started a few years earlier. They got caught in a bull trap, causing a loss of more than $1 billion. It took 7 years to sell off their physical silver. Now, a lot of people said that they were manipulating the price, that it was illegal to corner the market. But we see similar situations right now happening with Wall Street silver. They're cornering the market, and nowadays it's praised upon. But back then it was seen as evil. The situation was a lot different, but the similar concept: buy all the silver. But here's the sticky part. The Hunt brothers are just saying, we just wanted to buy silver. We just wanted to put our money in something that has value. But the government's saying, no, you had a different intent. You had ulterior motive. See, that was business as usual. Years later, South American mining company sued the Hunt brothers for cornering the market and won $130 million, causing the brothers to file personal bankruptcy. In less than 10 years, they had run a $7 billion inheritance down to less than $1 billion. So, this is a very deep story, as you can see. But the moral of the story is the government did something extreme and fast to protect themselves and the silver. Because imagine if they would have got away with that and these guys just own most of the silver in the world. The government needs silver. And that's why they did it. Why else would they care if silver wasn't so valuable? And that's the point I'm trying to get to. What would the government do next if they don't have enough silver to make the world go round? Because we know there's a silver shortage, but have you ever thought about what happens after there's not enough silver? Which I made a video of the below ground supply of silver versus the above ground supply of silver versus global production. And by 2030, there literally will not be enough silver or any silver. By 2030. Gold, I think they said that the chart showed by the year 2035 or 2040. But silver is one of the earliest. And then you have other metals. It was actually a graph that showed every single precious metal and when we would run out of it. And silver was the closest with the year 2030. So my thought is this, right? They're going to have to do something because we already know there's a silver shortage. And since there's a shortage, that's going to lead to higher prices. So yes, we all make a quick buck. But what's the end result? Yes, we all get rich, but then what happens after we get rich? Are we just all going to sell our silver so they get it back? I'm sure there's going to be people that are holding it. When I talk about people selling your silver or will you sell your silver, most people say they're going to pass down to their kids or grandkids. So it's an interesting situation. This is a very, I guess, controversial subject. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of different opinions. I'm sure a lot of people are going to argue with me or debate me or say something that goes against what I'm saying or what I think or my opinion, which is okay because this is all speculation of what's going to happen or what could happen or what will happen, right? But I'm just throwing my thoughts out there with the facts. The fact is that, yes, Silver Rule 7 happened. They cut off trading on the COMEX. I mean, and they did that for a reason, and we know the mainstream reason, but I think there was a deeper reason, and that's obviously what's happening nowadays, that there is a silver shortage, which could put the price up, but why? I mean, and when the price is up, will that fix the problem of a silver shortage, which I don't think it would. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love for you to all participate in this video. After you like the video, make sure you subscribe. I'm doing a 50K giveaway. But my thought is really, would they ever ban silver again? What do you think? Yes, this is a very theoretical possibility, controversial video. I hope if you don't agree with me or say something, I hope it's in a respectful way, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to bring up possibility. I'm trying to see what's up. I like digging through this. I made a video about the Hunt brothers. I kind of left it at that, but I wanted to take it a step further and think of the aftermath. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Sorry, this video is very lengthy. If you've been sticking around through this whole video, thank you. I praise you. You're a very smart stacker because you didn't click off thinking you know everything. You didn't click off thinking you didn't need to know anymore. You wanted to hear every bit of information. You watched it all the way through. It shows a lot about your character, which definitely translates into your silver stacking strategy, which translates into your success. And I can guarantee that you're very educated, more than most people that clicked off this video within 2-3 minutes. And that just shows a lot. So thank you for sticking around. I'm going to wrap this video up here. Link to this or both of these articles will be in the description. This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.